Simply the greatest. Muhammad Ali is revered by millions around the world, not just for boxing, but for his quick wit, charisma, and knockout looks. He was born Cassius Marcellus Clay, Jr. in 1942 in Louisville, Kentucky. From the early age of 12, he started molding his boxing style. Soon, his dazzling footwork was wearing his opponents out, while his lightning combination punches put them away. In 1964, only 4 years after he went pro, he won his first heavyweight championship title, defeating Sonny Liston. Within the same week, Cassius Clay joined the Nation of Islam and changed his name to Muhammad Ali. Then in 1967, he refused on religious grounds to fight in Vietnam. As a consequence, he was stripped of his title. But he was vindicated in the end. In 1971, the Supreme Court ruled in his favor, and his fighting career continued. Ali remains the only boxer to have won the heavyweight championship title 3 times. His fights against his opponents, such as Joe Frazier, George Foreman, and Leon Spinks, are legendary. His career total is 56 wins, 5 losses, and 37 knockouts. Ali is almost as famous for his mouth as for his punches. He caught the public eye by taunting his opponents both before and during his fights. At the time of our interview, he had just lost his second heavyweight championship to Leon Spinks and had already agreed to a rematch. Ali has been married 4 times and is the father to 9 children. When we visited him in 1978, he was married and living with his 3rd wife, Veronica, and their 2 little girls. They were living in the racially mixed Hyde Park section of Chicago's South Side in a 22-room mansion. If it weren't for this single portrait in the entrance hall, you wouldn't have the slightest idea who lived there. Ali picked out everything himself. You had to take your shoes off to walk on the white carpets, and most of the house was gold and white, with not a trophy to be seen anywhere. Veronica, who loved birds, had filled the breakfast room with parrots and cockatoos. The ornate marble mantel and crystal chandelier were brought over from Italy, and the massive dining table was hand-carved in Lebanon. But to keep applesauce off the cushions and milk from spilling on the white rugs, the children, like children everywhere, were fed in the kitchen. Ali was very tender with his children, but he still fought hard to preserve that macho image.
Who changed diapers? I don't change that. That's a woman's job.
But you do it.
When do you see me change diapers?
All the time.
I'm not changing no diapers. That's your job.
You have said men are superior to women by nature. Can't even say it. Men are leaders. Women are inferior. Women are sex symbols.
No, somebody got that wrong.
Well, tell me what part of it's true. 2 out of 3?
You getting mad now?
Yeah.
You want to throw some punches
No,
over
I
here?
just want to sit here and ask you what part of it's true.
Well, I'll tell you this. Why are you looking up to me? You looking up
I'm
now.
looking straight.
You're looking up. But you're an angle. You're looking up.
Straight.
Because I'm taller than you.
Straight. That's
You have to look up.
Yeah, okay.
God made
That's
you that way.
physically. You're
Yeah.
physically
And
bigger than I am.
all men are. And then there's some little sissy punk. But you got to look up to me. I sit down. And when I stand, you're going to look
I'm
up to me.
taller than some men, though.
That's what I'm trying to say. And when I'm stand up, you look up to me.
Physically, you're superior. You are superior to me physically. I won't, argue
God
with that.
made man in his image. He said about a woman. God made man in my image. He made the woman out of the real.
Do you really think women are inferior?
How? Inferior how?
Well,
God made
physically
women.
not. In
God
their
made women.
minds, let's say.
No. I want women to be equal to men as far as being paid for the quality of what they can do.
When your wife argues with you, do you say to her, "You're a woman, and I'm the boss, and that's the way it is"?
Woman, shut up!
Where are my people?
I'm just having fun. No, we don't argue. You know, we argue, we have little fusses, but whenever you can always...
That's very scary,
Yeah,
what you just did.
no. If you know your mate, you can tell when they're getting ready to argue. You can tell when they say something's going to lead to arguing. So I found out it's better to walk out of the room or to leave home, go have dinner, go watch a movie.
That's killer.
Oh, that's worse than arguing. So if I ever think, well, me and Veronica, we don't have no arguments. That's what scares me. We never had no fusses or fights.
Do you believe in fidelity when you're married?
What's fidelity?
Staying with one woman only? Nobody's listening.
Every married man hearing this show, I know I'm telling the truth, fellas. Sometimes wish they're single, right? Sometimes. But in the long run, it's good. I got children, I got a mate, I got company, companionship. Nothing wrong with love. Sometimes you naturally wish you were single.
I want to ask you something that is a sensitive question, but people have thought it and perhaps asked you. The Muslims have a very strict code of conduct. You do yourself. You have a very strong moral
All
code.
religions do.
Was there a problem when your wife, Veronica, gave birth to your child before you were married?
No, I was married.
You were married to her when that child was born?
Not by, say, the white man's law,
I see.
but by Allah, God, know the oath that I took in privacy with her.
And that was enough?
With Allah, not with the law, probably. But people are married. In this country now, they don't get married, they just live together. That's the big thing now. Don't get married, just live together. But my intention, see, it's not the action that makes a thing right or wrong, but the purpose behind the action. What was the purpose? What was my purpose in having a baby with my wife Veronica? What was my purpose in living with her and sleeping with her? My purpose was to marry her, to fulfill it and be a gentleman, go through with it, make it dignified and respectable, and I took oath with God that this is my wife. So I don't feel bad at all. Because my laws with God are not like your laws in this state.
Ali, it's 14 years since you became heavyweight champion of the world, and you say now that you're going to win it for the third time. You will be the only man ever to have regained the title.
3 times.
3 times. What if you don't? What if you don't?
No, I don't. It's simple. I don't.
Is it that simple?
Yeah, I just don't.
Would it break your heart?
No. That's why people are so shocked when I lost to Frazier. No excuses. He won. When I lost to Ken Norton, broke my jaw. He won. When I lost to Spinks, he won. But I have people thinking that if I lose or if something bad happens to me, I'll jump out a window. See, my faith is not in worldly things, really. I'm a spiritual man. When you base your life on spiritual things, then you're happy. So my real thing ain't in boxing. I'm gonna make it look like it's in boxing, but it's not.
But it's a way of life for you. It's money. It's an entourage. It's a feeling about
I'd
yourself.
give it
All of
all
that.
up tomorrow, find a job pumping gas in a gas station if I had to, and me and my wife and my children get a 2-room apartment and 1 bathroom, 1 kitchen, and be happy.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
What
Be-
happens to all the people around
Be
you?
happy.
What happens to the 50 people you
Oh,
take care of and support and who are part of your world? That's what I read in the New York Times.
No. They're all great kings and all great. I'm a great man. I'm one of the world's greatest humans. So I got a crew. So what? You got a crew. You a TV lady. You got a little crew. Trucks all out here and wires all lined up. And so for you, now I'm a world man. Can I have 2 or 3 people? Can I have a little crew?
It's not who do you think you are. It's, oh, please, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Don't end up with nothing. It really is much more sympathetic.
Well, I don't worry about it. I ain't worry about it.
Because you said, I want to go out a winner. I really do. So people wonder why you haven't quit before.
Everybody do.
You could have quit before this fight.
Sometimes I wonder myself why I did. It's too late now. What happened has happened. We got to come back.
Why do you think you do it? Time magazine said you do it for pride. Some people said you do it for money. Why?
Well, not pride. If I have to fight for pride, then I'm going to be a sad person. I'm through fighting. But I love boxing. I've been boxing in West Realize since I was 12. That's all I knew. And I like boxing. I like defending the title. I won it in the ring. I like the idea of staying the world's greatest fighter, the most popular person. And as soon as you quit, that's got to go out.
But you said it didn't matter that it went out.
No, I'm not saying that I can't live without it.
No.
I can no longer be recognized as the world's greatest fighter when I'm no longer fighting. And I like the idea. I like holding the title. And another thing I like is setting records. I want to do something that's going to take them 400 or 500 years to break, like win the title for the 3rd time.
Does this mean if you always want to set the next record and you like the feeling of being the world's champion, that you'll just box and box and box until finally you'll be defeated?
No.
Then what? How do you see it?
No, it's crazy. I'm going to get out of boxing soon, but I don't want to commit myself because
Right
it's
now,
going to be after
yeah.
Spinks.
Your own physician, Dr. Ferdy, Pacheco, is that it? Said recently, Ali is finished as a fighter, a shadow of his former self. I did everything but beg him to retire even before the Spinks fight.
Well, that's just one more less person that don't have to be with me next time I play Spinks. You just talk yourself out of that.
Was there a point where you thought maybe I should have quit when you're ahead, maybe I should
No,
have
I'm
stopped?
still ahead. This is good. Losing is good. Couldn't find it no better. Frazier won the first fight. I came back, I beat Joe Frazier. Ken Norton broke my jaw, came back, I beat Norton. Sonny Liston, that couldn't even kill me. George Foreman, this is beautiful.
Yeah,
This
but you
is
didn't want to lose this fight.
No.
I mean, you don't think it's a good thing that you lost this fight?
Well, it can be. It can be a blessing. They got a thing called a blessing in disguise.
I heard that, yeah.
So I come back and get my title, still the greatest of all time.
Tell me the fantasy. Tell me, okay, there you are. When do you not give me the next fight? It's September. What happens? Which round? What do you say? Close your eyes and tell me the fantasy.
Ali comes out to meet Spinks, but Spinks starts to retreat. If Spinks goes back an inch farther, he'll wind up in a ringside seat. Ali swings to the left. Ali swings to the right. Look at Ali carry the fight. Spinks keeps backing, but there's not enough room. It's a matter of time. There Ali lowers the boom. Now he lands on the right with a beautiful swing, and the punch lifts Spinks clean out of the ring. Spinks is still rising, but the ref has a frown, for he can't start counting till Spinks comes down. Now Spinks disappears from view. The crowd is getting frantic, but our radar stations have picked him up. He's somewhere over the Atlantic. Who would have dreamed when they came to the fight that they witnessed the launching of a black satellite?
Who would have dreamed when I asked this question that they had the whole entire answer prepared?
You're talking to the most wisest athlete,
Don't you do
the
this
wisest
listen.
boxer of all times. You'll never meet another one like me.
What round did all of this happen in, by the way?
Round one.
Round one. Round one. And then what do you do? Now it's over. People are cheering. What do you say? Are you modest? What are you saying?
What am I saying?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. You know, hurrah, terrific!
I go back to the mirror,
Yeah.
I go back to the dressing room, and I look at my pretty face, and look at the cameras, I look in the mirror, and I give them the greatest short poem ever written. Me? Wee!
Ali had been to the stage, Cassius Clay.
I don't know what I would have been. Probably working in some factory, or probably a taxi driver, because I wasn't an educated type person. I didn't plan on going to no college.
But what if you hadn't changed your life, your name, your belief to become Muhammad Ali? Cassius Clay was already a fighter. What if you'd stayed that?
If I just stayed Cassius Clay, the
Yeah.
fighter,
Yeah. What would you have been? Just a good boxer?
the good boxer, probably Cassius Clay, a champion, like Ken Norton is just a good boxer, Joe Frazier, or George Foreman, Leon Spinks, but they are not men that the Russians will invite, the King of Arabia or Morocco would invite to visit his country.
In a way, when you were unable to fight after you wouldn't serve in Vietnam. And that was really your prime time, your prime years. But in a way, that was the best thing that happened to you then, wasn't it?
Well, business-wise and image-wise, taking a stand for what I believed, and then later the world found out I was right, and the whole country turned like me. It was a big gamble. I wrote something once. It says, he who is not courageous enough to take risk will accomplish nothing in life. And I've taken a lot of risk. So I've accomplished a lot because I've taken big gambles.
By your definition of yourself, are you a success?
I'm not just a success, but my definition, I'm 10 times a success. Like if on the scale from 1 to 10,
Yeah.
if 2 is a success, well, I'm there, I'm 10.
Ali, you always talk about how pretty you are. But no kidding, what do you really think of your looks? Do you think you're that handsome?
No, I'm not ugly and I'm not handsome. I'm in the middle.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of a success, you said you were 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of your looks, where are you?
I'll be about
About 8. Ah, oh, the modesty, the modesty. Is there anything you don't like about yourself?
oh, a lot of things.
Well, name 1 or 2 or 20 or 30.
I gain weight too easy.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I'm lazy. I don't pray as much as I should pray.
How often do you pray?
About twice a day.
How often should you pray?
5 times a day. I don't like my heart's too good. I'm always, somebody's in need, really in need. I'm always trying to help them if I can.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Do you have a temper?
Only with those who I dearly love. If my wife should make me a little angry, I can get a temper. Off my children, of my mother, my father, my brother. But if you're no kin to me, or I don't love you, then I don't care.
Did you ever hit a man outside of the ring?
No.
Would you be scared to?
Well, if you do something like that, you would be so angry at the time, or you'd be such a method of self-defense involved until I wouldn't have time to be scared, or I would feel just in doing so. But I wouldn't hit nobody unless it meant save my life or my wife or my family, or self-defense of some kind, but I wouldn't be scared then.
Ali, when you were a kid, you had very little time for formal education. You barely learned to read and write.
Oh, I can read a book, but it takes too long. I read the Holy Quran. I read certain books on great Islamic philosophers. I don't want to read no book. It's too much time in my eyes. What I'm saying is that no great man, many men in history who were the greatest of all times didn't have what you call education.
But how do you feel about education? How do you feel about your kids being educated?
Education is the greatest thing in the world. The reason America's so great is because it's an educated country. Education is beautiful. You got to have it. My children, I'm putting the money
Yeah,
down.
you don't mind, but you're not.
I didn't get it. I didn't get that type of formal education, so I can get by with it. But every kid can't take what I'm saying. Say, Muhammad Ali didn't go to school. He didn't study. He couldn't read that good. He didn't read books in an hour. So I don't have to. No, I'm just one out of millions that made it. And I'm gonna make a way for all my children. I advise everybody else get educated, get a trade, and find it. I'm just one of the few blessed in the world. Few.
Ali, you have 5 little girls and 1 boy. Do you want that boy to be a boxer?
No. It's too dangerous. I'm one in about 200 million to get where I'm at in this country. 200 million. And it's too risky, it's too hard, it's not for sure, it's too haphazard. One day you might get hurt, you might not make it. It's too much pain and suffering. But for sure, he's got brains. For sure, at a young age, if I can get him to be an educator, put up money for his college, find out his life purpose, everything, everybody has a purpose. Maybe it's a doctor, lawyer, mechanic, or whatever, anything with a fighter or something where you depend on your body and physical ability, where you might not make it, but the mind is for sure.
Do you ever get sick of your life? All the traveling, all the traveling?
Yeah, all the time. I'm always saying I'm not going to make no more engagements for the next 6 months. I'm going to be free to go fish and do what I want. But somebody gets me. I've got a call out there from a lady, says, we want to come to your house and interview you. And we have a thing on
I can't imagine who that could be. You should have said no.
I just got to say it. I don't want to. I couldn't turn Barbara Waters down. I said, okay, come on.
And here we are.
So tomorrow somebody else will come.
Say no. Tomorrow say no. What I'd like to do is to go through a whole bunch of names. Tell me, if you can, the first... what comes to your mind, okay? Joe Louis.
Joe Louis is my idol. It inspired me greatly to be a fighter. One of the greatest of all time, who was a victim of circumstance, who was a product of his day. Wasn't a great educator, and trusted a lot of people of other races to handle his affairs and didn't do it right. But he's a good man. He's a religious man, he's a spiritual man. He didn't wind up too good financially, but he's rich with God because he's a good man. He gave you a lot of money, helped a lot of people. And if there's anybody that got a chance of going to heaven, his soul is one to will. That's the main thing.
Joe Frazier.
Joe Frazier was a good fighter when he was fighting. He had a good style. He was strong. He'd keep coming, take a lot of punishment. And gave me one of my roughest fights was the fight in Manila.
Muhammad Ali.
Well, I'm just a person like everybody else, just popular. Everything that everybody else like, I like, and it's good, and some bad, and live from day to day and do all that kind of stuff, trouble.